Okay, so we're starting in a comfortable seat, and if you have a pillow or a blanket underneath you, that's going to be helpful. I'd like you to just rest your hands wherever they feel comfortable and close your eyes. Let's come inside. Chances are you've been outside of yourself. Maybe you've been paying attention to news or social media, or you've been busy doing things for other people, with other people. Come inside. Just let your attention sink right here, right under your skin. And notice that's hard at first. It's a challenge. Our doing self wants to keep doing. It's a little hard to come in initially. So we'll do some things today that make it easier. But for now, just do your best to draw awareness inward. It helps to close your eyes because then your sense of sight isn't distracting you and pulling you away. Notice the ground you're sitting on, the earth beneath the cushion. As we sit here today and we begin this practice, I'd like to just acknowledge that we're sitting on land that doesn't really belong to us on Indigenous Peoples Day. Let's just take a moment to honor those who came before us. Mother Earth beneath us. And we're so blessed to be able to sit here in this spot. Just take a moment of gratitude. Each inhalation becomes a little slower, a little deeper, a little more full. And I'm going to lead us out with the words of Danna Faulds. This is called "Nothing More is Needed." Inside the hot, hard knot of raw sensation, here, inside the heart of fear and pain, I find the flame of truth. My path is through, diving right into whatever past conditioning bids me hide or push aside. When I soften, open, accept, and receive, the flow of energy is immediate. Nothing more is needed to awaken completely than the intimate experience of now. When I soften, open, accept, and receive, the flow of energy is immediate. So let's do that. Let's draw our shoulders up by our ears. And then on the exhale, just soften. Just soften shoulders, soften breath, soften body. Do that a few times. Shoulders up. And then just let that word soften. Like my friend Dora says, like butter melting on pancakes. And the next time your shoulders come up, let the arms follow them all the way up toward the ceiling. And then open your arms, almost like the petals of a flower opening. Let your fingertips come to your sides. And your palms together through the center, lift up. And then exhale, open. And see if you can soften and open both. Take an easy twist over to your right side. Let one hand come to the knee, the opposite hand behind you. And exhale back to center, switching sides. Create a flow with breath, arms lifting high. And on the exhale, twisting to the right. And wait until that breath is gone all the way out and you feel your body soften. Then open up to the center and twist. And wait until the breath is gone and you feel your body soften. Continue to do that side to side with your breath. So just noticing that your breath is leading this practice. Your breath is creating the pace of your practice. And we stay in a pose until softness occurs. Let's go a couple more times to each side. When you've evened that out on both sides, go ahead and stretch your legs out in front of you. And this is where I do want to use this folded up blanket, pillow, something underneath the hips. And with our legs out in front of us, start to just walk yourself forward. So getting the sensation almost that you're falling off the forward edge of your blanket. What that will do is help us have this anterior tilt to the pelvis. Our pelvis is a bowl of water. It's like spilling forward. And then let's all bend our knees generously here. Reach down and take a hold of your feet. So some of you will have super bent knees, some not so much, but hips off the edge of the blanket. And now just begin to scoot your heels forward until you find a satisfying stretch in the backs of your legs. You're pulling your chest forward, breathing, lengthening the spine. And with each exhale, friends, just soften. Inhale to lengthen and exhale, soften. The inhale is always some kind of slight opening. And the exhale invites a softening. You might find that the longer you stay here, the straighter you can get your legs. Return to an upright spine. Bend your knees and just sweep yourself around the other way into a child's pose. So you can move that prop for now. Take your knees wide, let your big toes touch. Sink your head toward the earth and feel that fold in your hip crease. Shift your hips from side to side. Just let your hips feel like they're in a hammock, swinging over the left foot and over the right. A softening here. Letting go of places in your body where you feel tension or strain. And settle your hips right in the center. Allow yourself to just be a little heavier here. Exhale long. And let's bring ourselves up to a tabletop position. And just take a couple of rounds of cat and cow, warming up your spine. On the inhale, the tailbone lifts and then just snake through the whole spine all the way up to your head. As you exhale, tailbone tucks, spine curls. Inhale to feel some opening. Exhale, come inside, feel a softening. Finding a neutral position. Reach your right arm forward and your left leg back. Take a moment to catch your balance. Finding a strong core, bend your back knee, lift your fingers a little higher toward the ceiling, sunbird pose. Good, and as you exhale, hug underneath you, squeeze your elbow towards your knee and start to flow with breath here. Just a bigger version of cat and cow. Build a little heat through the core. And one more time in both directions, and then go ahead and replace. Find neutral spine. And switch sides. Left arm, right leg. Find your balance and then bend the knee. Lift the fingers a little higher, sunbird, and begin to move with your breaths. Up and down. The inhale is an opening. The exhale is a softening. Really beautiful, everyone. One more time, out and in, and settle into that neutral spine. Tuck your toes under, and you probably all know we're headed for downward facing dog, but before we go there, press your hips back over your heels and give a little stretch to the underside of your toes. Roll in toward your big toes. Roll toward your pinky toes and just let the bottoms of your feet start to extend, expand. And then with the word soften in mind, take a deep breath in. Exhale, soften up into downward facing dog. And see if that experience is a little different than just jumping right straight into a pose. Can you melt? Soften your body into a posture. Slow breath in, a long breath out. And with your fingers wide on the mat, come up onto your tippy toes. Put a giant bend in your knees. Deep breath in. And again, let's soften as we drop our heels. Softening into downward facing dog. Do that again, toes. Deep bend in the knees. Inhale. And then exhale, find maybe a little softer expression of this pose. Let's walk our feet toward our hands. And this first standing forward fold, bend your knees more than usual. Just let your belly rest right down on your thighs. Touch your hands to your elbows and just hang here. Your arms are framing your head and you're just dangling down. The inhale, you might notice just a little lift. The exhale, softening. Bring your fingertips to the floor and then lengthen the spine out in front of you. And you might want to use a block in front of you to get a little higher. Keep the knees pretty bent. Let's walk the hands all the way up to the shins and find your flat back. With your hands on your shins, bend and straighten your knees a couple of times. See if you can notice the difference between the belly of the hamstring muscle and the attachments around the knees. We want to avoid attachments when possible and just keep the stretch more in the belly of the muscle. Softening. And then with those knees bent deeply, let's scoop the arms up high. Take your time, slow lift, extended mountain. Find a little back bend. Stand with your heart lifted, your feet firmly on the earth. And then let your arms come down to your sides. Beautiful. Inhale, arms high and opening. Hands meet. Exhale, chair, a softening. Inhale, open. And just make that different. Sometimes chair can be like grit your teeth, work hard. Today, can you make chair a softer pose? It's an exhale. It's a release. It's not a struggle or a hard place. Make it soft. One more, reach tall, and we'll take a side bend, so step just a little bit wider. Grab one wrist and pull that arm up and over the side, breathing deeply into your side body. You might even yawn here. And switch sides, pull up and over. This beautiful opening into the side body. And then arms peel out again. Let's reach our fingers behind us. Place your hands on your glutes, like you're putting your hands in your back pockets. Hug your elbows in tight and lift your chest. Really press down through your feet so you feel your hips stretching forward a bit. Breathe into your heart, your lungs, your ribs. Deep breath in. Exhale, neutral spine. Bend your knees. Slide your fingers down the backs of your legs. Catch your heels. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Rise all the way up as your hands come to your hips. Press again to that back bend. Deep breath in. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Slide your fingers down. Catch your heels. Forward fold. So moving with breath. Halfway, hands on hips, back bend. There's your opening. Slide your fingers down, forward fold, softening until the breath is gone all the way. We'll do that twice more. Press to lift. Soften to fold. And when we get to the floor, hands down, step back again, downward facing dog. Pedal your heels, shift around, and just see if things are softening, opening, loosening. Dropping the right knee to the mat. We'll kick that foot off the side, open into a kneeling side plank. Beautiful work, everybody. Let the arms start to reach over the ear and just extend into that whole side body. The arm comes up, lift the leg off the floor, find the ankle with the hand, and open here in the front of the body. A little bit of balance. Good. Creating flow with breath. Drop the foot, reach the arm up and over. Inhale, leg lifts. Maybe you're not quite catching the foot. Maybe you're just reaching in that direction. Stretch up and over. Slow down. Let your breath control the pace. We'll reach over one more time. Let that hand come all the way to the floor. On your knees, shift your body forward, lower to the earth, lift up to cobra, and send your hips back, child's pose. Pause here. That might feel really good to your lower back again, to just hammock those hips side to side over your heels. You can stay here as long as you like. Come back whenever you like. Shifting forward now, our left knee is on the ground and the left foot kicks off the edge of the mat for a kneeling side plank. We'll let the arm come up over the head, finding that nice long side body stretch. And as the arm comes up, the leg lifts. Let's reach back toward that foot. Maybe kicking the foot into the hand, front body open. And start your flow with breath. This flow can be big, grand, and slow. It can also be small. Always avoiding any sharp pain, any extreme discomfort. We're here to open and soften, not to force and push. Let's go one more time both ways. And then as that arm comes back over, let's press our hips back again, child's pose. Shift your hips. And then tucking our toes, downward facing dog. Step your feet wider, the width of your yoga mat. And then bring your hands back to meet your feet. Knees are going to bend, so you're kind of a wide forward fold, bent knee position. With your hands on the floor or maybe a block, just bend and straighten again and see if you're noticing the belly of the muscle, the attachments. We're here to soften and open. Find a place where you can stay and then lift your toes. So rock back into your heels and pivot so that your toes point in. Your toes point in, heels are out. And again, just a soft, not too much, a little bit of bend in the knees, and then find a place where you can stay here. This is for the outer edges of our hamstrings. You might shift your hips right to left. Notice what's happening there around your hips, your IT band. Clear up into your waist. Maybe there's one side that seems a little more interesting. Stay there. Breathe there. Find something there. And then come back to center, lift your toes and pivot your toes off the edge of your mat. So just your heels are on the mat, and begin to bend and straighten here. For some of us, this will be a small motion. For some, you might feel okay to just come all the way down into Malasana. We'll just move in and out. Motion is lotion, just lubricating the joints. And then if you find a place that feels like a staying place for you, stay there. Breathe there, be there. The inhale is an opening and the exhale is a softening. And the next time your legs are straight, pivot your toes back to the mat. Put a bend in your knees, hands come to the thighs, and bring yourself up to standing. Roll your shoulders onto your back, feet close together. Take a deep breath in, arms up and back. Find that back bend again, opening. Exhale, hinge forward, softening. Walk your hands forward, top of the mat, downward facing dog. Shifting again now forward, let's drop the right knee to the mat. We'll kick that right foot off the side, opening once again into this kneeling side plank. On the inhale, see if you can pull your hand backwards even more. Kind of find a backwards stretch, opening through the front of that left shoulder. Good. And on the exhale, round so that you stretch the arm through, almost like we're going in to thread the needle. So movement with breath here in this rotation. Inhale, open. Exhale, reach through. Starting to feel torso, core, and shoulders. One more time, we'll reach up high. And we'll replace that hand to the earth, come to your knees, lower down to the earth, and rise up to cobra. Feel the strength in your back. Pause here. And then exhale, child's pose. Take a moment to hammock. Move your hips side to side. And as we shift forward, the left knee is on the mat. Kick the foot off. Open into your kneeling side plank. And the top arm comes behind you. Feel the strength in the back of your shoulder. And then exhale, wind that arm underneath. Move through this rotation with your breath open and soften. Open and soften. One more time, open and reach through. Release your hand to the mat. Square your hips, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Just see what kind of space is being created here in this softer flow. Walk your feet to meet your hands. And with a bend in the knees, scoop the arms high, extended mountain. Maybe that tiny back bend again. And then exhale your arms slowly down to your sides. Beautiful. Bring your hands to your heart. Put a bend in your knees. Find a chair pose. Engaging your core nice and tight. Pick up one foot and then the other. Kind of a little soft marching chair. See what's there. One side is a little more stable or wobbly than the other. And then choose one foot, pick that foot up and turn it sideways. Come down into a figure 4. You can stay there, maybe grab a chair for balance. If you're feeling pretty good there, green light, elbows calm down and rest on the shin, the ankle. If you still have a green light, you can bring your fingers to the floor. It's this standing pigeon pose. The exhale invites the softness. If you fall, just come back to some version of a balancing pose. If you're down close to the floor, raise back up. Come to standing, arms at your sides, and just pause for a moment here. Notice your left hip and notice your right hip. Shoulders on your back. And then come to hands to heart center down in that chair. Pick up the opposite foot and begin to find a standing pigeon. You can use any balance support. Nice, Kim. Walls are our friends. Good, Bill. That railing comes in handy. You can stay here or sink down toward your leg or the floor. Bring your awareness to the hip of the leg that's on top. And breathe there. See if you can create some kind of softening there. If you're down close to the floor, rise back up. Release to standing. Shake out your legs a little bit. Do a little shake it off yoga dance. Reach your arms high. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, loud swan dive, forward fold. Press your hands to your shins, lift halfway. Exhale, downward facing dog. Option to take a vinyasa if you like. Shift forward, lower down, lift up, and press back. Your choice. We're going to shift ourselves forward one more time into plank pose, dropping that right knee to the mat and kicking that foot off the side. So this time, a little more work, a little more effort. Option to take both feet out into a Vashisthasana or side plank. So you can be on staggered or stacked feet. If this hurts your wrist, you can be on a fist or down on an elbow. Lift up with the obliques underneath you. If you're feeling really sassy today, you can do fallen tree, or maybe even, let's see what happens here, fallen star. Take another deep breath in, friends. As you lower, come forward, drop your knees. As you come back into child's pose, the right arm that was under you, thread the needle all the way through. Come onto the back of your right shoulder and wiggle out your right fingers. This is the reward, the treat for that hard work. Just close your eyes and breathe your breath. Each exhale is a softening. We'll come back to center whenever you're ready for the second side. So now that you know what's happening here, kick your left foot off, open into side plank. So you could make a fist underneath you, or you could come down to an elbow. Vashisthasana, side plank. Feet can be staggered or stacked. You can take any variation of this pose that you like or don't like. An opportunity to challenge yourself, to hold your own weight. One more big inhale. And as we come back to center, square your hips, thread the needle. Left arm coming underneath the right. And wiggling out your left fingers. Take an exaggerated breath into your left shoulder blade. When I soften, open, accept, and receive, the flow of energy is immediate. Find your way back to center. And we'll be on our knees just for one more posture. So if your knees need the help, you can fold your mat a couple more times or grab that blanket underneath your knees. We're going to stand up on our knees. And then tuck your toes under for a variation of camel. So we're going to start this gentle. This is yoga for all levels. So we want to make it a yes for everyone. So option one is right here, just supporting yourself, hands on hips, down on your glutes, press down and lift your chest and shoulders up. You're creating traction for the lower back, and just be here. This is a great place to just be open. Invitation for today is keep your right hand on your hip and raise your left arm straight up overhead. Act like there's maybe a rope pulling you up. So instead of thinking back, think up through the side body. And then just gently switch. Left hand anchors down, right arm pulls up. There's almost a sense of diagonal length through the torso. Let's do that a couple more times, each side. Press down on the right hip, lift up with your left hand. Switch. If you're feeling really great here and you want to go back all the way into camel pose, you're welcome to bring both hands to your heels and drop back into this big back bend expression. Otherwise, it's just right here. Take another breath in that feels like opening your whole self to what's in front of you. It can be vulnerable, maybe even a little scary to be open, to crack open to what's right here. Exhale, soften. And release. Option to stay right here, just standing on your knees. If your knees allow, you could also just drop back to your heels. But either way, pause with eyes closed. Bring both hands to cover your heart and just feel that heartbeat. This gesture, softening, self-love coming inside. When you feel ready, you can release your hands and open your eyes. And let's start to transition around and down onto our backs. Once you get there, draw your knees to your chest and give your back a nice little roll out on the floor. You can stay here and just continue to give yourself a massage on the earth. Or if you like, take your knees wider, make footprints on the ceiling and pull down, happy baby. The back of your legs, you can hold your ankles or the outsides of your feet. Softening. Less effort, more ease. And continue moving around. If you're in happy baby, feels good maybe to straighten one leg and then the other, straighten both. A little curiosity here and playfulness, ease, softness. And then let's bring the knees back into the chest, holding behind the knees. Just bend and straighten the legs a few times here. Noticing again the belly of the muscle. And when that starts to shift back into attachment, holding on to your right leg, let your left leg slowly lower all the way to the floor. And if you have a strap, you're welcome to slide that around the bottom of your right foot. Toes come down, heel to the sky, and just feel that length from heel to hip. You might move your leg out a little bit and in, just working your way up and down that hamstring. And let's move into spinal twist. So we'll bend this knee. You can shift your body over to the right so that as you pull that leg to the left, you're lying right on your left side. Your right shoulder is on the ground and you can turn your head to the right. You can also bring your block or that blanket underneath your right knee. Breathe here to open. Exhale to soften. The inhale is an opening. The exhale is a softening. Opening to something new. Softening to something we've been bracing against. Maybe the opening is just a new perception, a new way of looking. Maybe the softening is toward yourself, a more gentle way of being with yourself today. Unfold back to the center, stretch your legs out long, reach your arms overhead. So you're stretching your body in two directions. Yawn here and just let your body reset. And then draw both knees back into your chest. Give yourself a nice hug here on the earth. And hold behind your knees, extending the legs straight up. Keep your left leg where it is and start to lower your right leg slowly to the earth. You can use your strap around that left foot. And just play with a little bend and straighten here. Maybe that leg goes out and in toward the sides a bit. Just finding the hamstrings. Hugging that left knee into the chest. Shift so that you're moving to the left a bit as that knee comes across the body. You're laying on your right side. Extend your left arm and turn to look left. Use any props that help you be more rested and comfortable here. And then breathe. The inhale is an opening. The exhale, a softening. Notice where your body feels closed and hardened. Just invite the softest whisper of opening and softening into those areas. We don't need to use a crowbar to force things open, just a soft invitation. As you return back to center one more time, extend your body out long, fingers and toes in opposite directions. In this position on your back, take a hold of one wrist and pull that arm up and over so you feel a little more length in one side and then the other. And then let your arms come down to your sides like snow angels. Take your feet a little wider so they almost touch the edges of your mat, and let your feet flop open. You might turn your palms up and opening through the shoulders. Turn your head from side to side and find that perfect point on the back of your head where you can rest. Take a breath in that feels like an opening. And let a breath out that feels like a softening. Inside the hot, hard knot of raw sensation. Here, inside the heart of fear and pain, I find the flame of truth. My pain is through, diving right into whatever past conditioning bids me hide or push aside. When I soften, open, accept, and receive, the flow of energy is immediate. Nothing more is needed to awaken completely than the intimate experience of now. Before moving any part of your body, just notice. Notice its softness, its beauty, its perfection. Notice the calm place this body has found. And bring that calm with you as you begin movement. Bring bring the calm with you as you return to your comfortable seat and your easy breath. When you find your seat, let's all let the left hand, the softer hand, find the soft place over your heart. What is one way that you can be a little more open today? What's one part of you that today you can soften? What feels hard in you, and can that be a little softer today? Bring your hands together at heart center. As we end this practice, may we all be a little more open today to life and to each other. And may we walk with a little more softness on this earth. Thanks for being here today, my friends. Namaste.